It's January 9th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a final farewell that ended in tragedy, a young heroine placed on trial, and a nation taxed due to conflict that never lifted. Let's begin. On January 9th, 2015, mourners gathered in the small village of Chinama, Mozambique, to honor the dead, never imagining that the funeral itself would become a mass grave. As tradition demands, cups of pombu, a homemade corn brew, was passed around hand to hand in the early morning hours. It tasted normal, it smelt normal, but then people began to collapse. Fatigue turned to violent illness, confusion spread faster than answers. By nightfall, dozens were dead. 72 lives were lost, more than 200 fell gravely ill. At first, investigators feared deliberate poisoning, pesticides, herbicides, and even rumors of animal toxins. But the truth was stranger and deadlier. Laboratory tests revealed a rare bacteria had contaminated the beer, producing bronchitic acid, an almost unstoppable toxin that shuts down the body's ability to breathe at a cellular level. Among the first to die was the woman who brewed the beer, along with members of her own family, ruling out malice and deepening the horror. It was an accident. It is one of the most deadliest foodborne disasters in the nation's history, proof that sometimes the most lethal threats hide in plain sight, waiting for that single sip. On January 9, 1431, in the cold, echoing city of Rouen, a teenage girl was led to a courtroom designed to erase her from history. Her name was Joan of Arc, a peasant, a soldier, a symbol. To the English crown, she was something far more dangerous than the enemy on the battlefield. She was proof that God might not be on their side. The trial began that day and was never meant to be fair. It was a hearsay court backed by England and overseen by Pierre Cauchon, a man loyal to not faith, but politics. His goal was simple: destroy her credibility and her role with the 100-Year War. For weeks, she was interrogated in secret, asked impossible questions meant to trick her into condemning herself. Guards watched her every move, and clerics twisted scripture into weapons. Exhausted and terrified, on May 30th, she was led to flames. The trial meant to silence her did the opposite. It turned her into a martyr, and left behind one of history's darkest examples of justice used as a disguise for fear. They burned her to erase her voice, only to make it echo louder. On January 9th, as war shadows stretched across Europe, Britain crossed a line that it could never return. Inside Parliament, Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger unveiled a desperate idea. Napoleon's armies were advancing. The war was draining gold faster than cannons could be forged. Britain needed money, and this time it would come directly from its people. For the first time in history, the government would peer into private earnings. Those making more than £60 a year would pay. The wealthy, earning over 200, would be forced to surrender 10% of their income. Many called it intrusive, dangerous, unthinkable. Pamphlets warned it would destroy liberty. Crowds whispered that once the state knew what you earned, it would never stop watching. Officials promised it was temporary, just until the war was over. Yet, even as citizens reluctantly paid, the tax embedded itself into national life. It raised millions, and when peace briefly came, the tax never left. What began as an emergency measure became permanent, quietly reshaping the relationship between the government and its citizens forever. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.